Infertility is very, very hard these days. Let's all consider coronavirus. People are locked down. Everybody in their different houses. How do you think people that are looking for children will be feeling right now? First month, second month, third month, still no pregnancy, sex every day. I don't think you can understand what I'm trying to paint. People are pressed, people are depressed, people are anxious, people are going through a lot, all in the name of looking for baby. It's a lot. So if your house there, you are still a spinster, you are still a young person, you are still a single man or woman, there's a lot you can do to prevent this havoc from befalling you. It's a lot of stress from family, from friends, and everybody cares. Everybody, they are all trying to help you, but you are the one feeling the heat, you are the one feeling the pressure of infertility. People are going through hell in order to get babies. So as we are going to go through this episodes by episode, talking about what young people can do to prevent infertility in the future, I want you to follow me closely so that we can all have fun and enjoy the discussion. I'm going to be talking about 3 groups of people. The first person is, let's say, somebody, a virgin that is virgin when married, with no previous exposure to sex, infection, pregnancy. You understand what I'm saying? And the second group will be group of people that are also virgins but have no idea what their blood group is, what their genotype is, what they know nothing about pregnancy. Now the third group of people are people that are already exposed. They understand sex, they understand PID, they understand infection, they already have exposure to all these factors. So infertility is not something that spare anybody. People that are virgin, that are coming straight up from marriage, that are just encountering sex for the first time, do have infertility. Likewise, people that have had several episodes of vaginal infection, sexually transmitted infection, even people that have aborted before, they too can be a victim of infertility. So anybody can have this condition. It's not something that someone is holier than the other. No, it does not select. So let's go through reasons why people might have to watch out for infertility and what we can do to prevent it in the nearest future. So let's look at this scenario. I know you actually fall into one of these categories, so you pick your own as we go forward. Before we start talking about what you can do to prevent infertility, let's quickly look at the consequences, the complications, what people have to go through when they have this condition called infertility. Infertility is when throughout 1 year of adequate, consistent, unprotected sexual intercourse, throughout the whole year, the person still cannot achieve conception. That is, the person could not get pregnant, even though the sex was adequate, even though the husband was always around, even though the wife was always around. Both of them could not achieve conception, they could not get pregnant. That's infertility. We don't say there is infertility when the couple are not staying together, or their sex has not been regular throughout the week, or maybe both of them are still using family planning, or they are protecting, they are not on the same page. One wants to protect, one is not, still is interested in making babies. So infertility, before we can diagnose infertility, both couples have to have adequate, consistent, unprotected sexual intercourse for at least a year before you can now start running around and say you want to go through investigations, before you say you want to go through tests. Now, what are the consequences? It's very hard. Okay, assuming, let's talk about young couples now. You just got married and people are looking at you anytime you come to church or you go to mosque or in a gathering of friends. They are looking at you, they are looking at your tummy, they are looking at you, they are looking at your tummy, or they are asking your husband, how far now, guy, what's going on? It's because they care, but in your own mind, in your head, you are feeling the pressure. They are asking after 6 months, what's going on? 8 months, what's going on? 1 year, what's going on? You are the only one that can understand what is going on, but people around you, even if they don't want to ask, they will be feeling like you will think they don't care if they don't ask. So it's still the two way. People around you are feeling the heat, they are feeling the need to ask you the question, whereas you are feeling like they are pressurizing you because you could not get pregnant. So it's the two way. Your mother, your in-law, everybody, your brothers, your sisters, they want to know, why are you not pregnant? What can we do to help? How can we support you? Have you gone to the hospital? Have you gone to this? Have you done this? Have you done that? Does your husband know how to do sex? Do you understand what sex is? Are you guys doing it? You know, there are a lot of questions, lots of them that people will start asking you when they have been watching and they've been watching, and there's nothing protruding out of your tummy. So it's a lot of pressure. Everybody feels it. Everybody around you, they all get pressurized, not just you. Just understand that, not just you. So there's also this social stigma that even some people will start feeling guilty that maybe I'm not adequate, maybe I'm not complete, maybe I'm the one that is deficient. Why am I not pregnant? You know, it's easy for people to start feeling that way. It's not just women. Women could voice out their own depression, but men feel it too. They feel inadequate. They feel like, is it that my sperm is not strong good enough? Is it that I'm not very good with this sex? There are a lot of things that even men go through that they will not tell anybody. Everybody feels it. That's just the truth. They feel guilty, they feel inadequate, they feel incomplete. That I've been doing this thing, other people have been doing it, and they've been making babies. What's stopping me? Why am I not making babies? So there's a lot of questions to be answered. Now, there's always this part, anxiety. Every month, oh my God, immediately your menses is coming, you're already anxious. You want to know, am I pregnant? Am I not pregnant? I'm feeling this, I'm feeling that. Doctor is like this, doctor, this is what I'm seeing. Wait for your menstruation time to pass before you start thinking about running tests or doing any workup. Wait, relax. That's what we always tell them, but we also understand that it's not easy. That's just the truth. Now, the financial constraint. After that 1 year, a lot of tests to do, a lot of investigations. They are not cheap. Most of them are expensive, and this is another part of let's say another responsibility consuming the family income. Do you understand what I'm trying to paint? It's consuming both emotionally and financially. If it's a family that are not really financially buoyant, they might not be able to set apart a particular amount of money in order to run investigation that will point out what is wrong in their body, whether for the male or the female, in order to be able to help them achieve pregnancy. So it's cost intensive. So those are the reason why, if you are still out there and you are still safe, you should come and learn what to do now to prevent infertility in the future, because it's a lot of pressure and you don't want to go through that, I believe.